Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Dashy has revealed one of the reasons at the World Championship why he believes the New York subliners were able to walk away with it, and giving credit to Sender for doing exactly that for their team. Does this mean that it was a massive loss for OpTic Texas, losing Sender at the start of last season? What is their coaching situation going to be going forwards? Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. First of all, just wanted to give you guys some codes. This is like Sib's code to try and translate. Maybe it's me is probably a LeBron reference, but then after that, like, I have no idea how to translate what Sib says on Twitter. Like, this guy speaks in another language, so if you guys want to, feel free to give it a go. Also wanted to mention this, Jake Hale comes up with what his ideal calendar would be for next season. Now, first of all, I would want to have 7 events, not just 6, because 5 majors plus champs is nice, and okay, 5 plus 1, it sounds all kind of nice and stuff, but we want 6 majors, at least in my opinion. I don't think it's going to happen, but based on the way the season should be structured, in my opinion, we should have 1 more major cycle and then going to the World Championship. These are the cities he'd like to go to. Of course, London would be very nice indeed. It'd be good to go back there. He reckons Miami, Vegas, Dallas, New York. If there's one that I would expect there to be an event next season, we're going to not have any idea about this for probably some time. Rumors will emerge over the coming months because the teams will have put in their applications to host an event, if they've got any money left to do so, which is one of the other questions. But I would say the most likely city is going to be Texas, right? I'm sure that OpTic will get another event next season. That feels almost guaranteed. Outside of that, though, anything can probably happen. I wanted to go to the New York one this year, but it didn't happen, right? It got cancelled for one or various reasons, and then they had to move it to the Belong Arena Studios in Columbus. Toronto, I would love to go back there. Hopefully there's another event there next year, but it's also possible there's another Canadian event, potentially Vancouver, because Seattle, as Ton mentions, is actually potentially moving to Vancouver. That was the rumor that came around a few days ago. Madrid would be a lot of fun. Obviously, this is pretty hopeful, depending on if the London Royal Ravens, owned now by the Spanish guys, could potentially move to Madrid. I don't know. It'd be exciting. I feel like some of these cities, especially Madrid, this can happen if the franchising geolocation disappears. We could do Sydney. We could do everywhere. We could do Tokyo if we really wanted to. But right now, it's probably going to be staying in cities where there are teams, apart from the ones that the CDL run, for example, the kickoffs and stuff, and also the championship could be done somewhere else. Now, Breaker Boy come up with some beautiful ideas. London, Birmingham, Liverpool, Leeds, Manchester. I'm pretty sure, like, back in the day, we used to do events in Birmingham. I think there was even one in Sheffield, and then Blackpool for champs. This was admittedly slightly before my time, actually, when all the Blackpool events were going down in 2012, 2013, 2014, which is a city with not necessarily the best reputation, let's say, in the UK. And they used to do these events at this place called the Norbreck Castle. I'm sure many of you have heard about these stories from there, but these really were the proper grassroots days. Speaking of champs, though, I thought this is an interesting point that Jake made on Twitter here, just comparing this year's. It didn't, okay, I think champs was great this year, but somehow it didn't maybe feel the same as it has done in the past, and possibly this is because the stage, I don't know if you guys think this is a valid point or not, but the stage that we have at the World Championship is just exactly the same as the other stages. It doesn't feel special in any way. You go back a few years to the pre-CDL days. This is the World Championship, what, 2017, where MLG would put on like, this stage looks like a World Championship stage. They actually even had 2 tiers here. They had the Bravo games and the Alpha games going on the same stage at the same time. And, I mean, you don't have to do that, but look how spectacular this looks, right? It does feel a little bit different, and maybe that's one thing the CDL are missing to really make it feel like how it used to. For the World Championship to be a real World Championship feel rather than just the playoffs as it presently is. Doug Levy does some interesting analysis here as well on if you, let's just assume that you can pay 4 league minimum salary players and they'll get 50 points in the CDL, which is probably, I think they could get more, to be fair, and certainly this season there will be teams that get more, probably all on the minimums. So he calculates who, like, how many dollars is that per CDL point, and then works out how much they should have spent effectively to get the amount of points that they did. And even Clayster replies like, yeah, we got the ultra value deal because they got 170 points while not getting paid that much, right, as Clayster seems to be implying. And we will see more players turn on the streams this off season, and certainly next season than we previously would. It's good and bad in some senses, right? We know that Hex has made this point for many a year, and even in the last couple of years, he said, look, we're not at the point of the Call of Duty League and this esports ecosystem for players just to get by on not making content and playing the game. Okay, if you're Simp and aBeZy, fine, you can get away with it. You make so much money from prize money every year, it's fine. fine. But for the majority of players, turning the stream on, especially when you're at the lower echelon, making the minimum of like 58 grand or whatever it's going to be this year, especially depending on where they make you live. And okay, you can make your money go a fair way if you try, but it's not easy, right? And I'm sure many of the players are going to be turning the streams on more so this season than they have done before. Even Kenny has been seemingly quite relaxed actually about this whole roster mania period because he's been streaming a lot lately. And I think we'll see more of this from players because they will need to think about supplementing their income if a lot of the salaries are going to drop this season, as it seems like they probably will do. At least maybe the top end will stay the same for the real top guys, but I think the median salary will decrease quite significantly this year. It certainly seems like that's the case. And I think we'll see more streams as a result, which maybe is good for the entertainment value and the personalities in the scene, but fundamentally it's tough for the pro players given the situation they're in, at least many of them potentially taking pay cuts. Scrappy might be fine, right? He might be able to keep with the amount of money that he's currently making, but maybe he would even prefer to get released from Ultra, someone buys him out, goes to a different team, maybe even gets paid less. But if he thinks he's got more of a chance to win and improve some sort of legacy, then he's going to probably want to do that rather than being stuck on Ultra, which might not be a particularly competitive team based on the rumors that we are presently seeing. Wanted to dive into as well, so Dashy and iLLeY the other day. Obviously Dashy's now gone back to Canada. iLLeY has been trying to make his return. We've seen him play a lot with Arcitys. The present rumor is that Arcitys and iLLeY is going to be a team of two over at the Los Angeles Guerrillas, which is, I think, in terms of slaying power, a bit of a questionable AR duo. But I think that iLLeY, honestly, if you look back to 5v5 Modern Warfare 2019, iLLeY on the sub was actually very impressive indeed. So I think that maybe there's a debate to be had on that one. But they were talking about Snoopy and his play style and how he was idolizing Shotzzy, it seems, some of the plays he was making. But they also discussed some strats that subliners not exactly stole, let's say, but were using, that they used to use on OpTic back in the day. What they're discussing here is that after going up 2-0 in the grand finals, usually after 2 maps, you take a break, right? You'll see the teams flood off the stage, go backstage, go to the toilet, whatever, have some water, discuss as a team, come back onto the stage. Subliners decided not to do that, and this, Dashy reckons, is a sender strategy and a sender idea that they used a couple of times previously on OpTic Texas when Sender was around.
Bro, like, okay, like, I'll say this because, like, he's, like, new in the league. I don't want to just say anything, but, like, okay, that Snoopy kid, I'm not gonna lie, was sounding me so hard. Dude, he was so dirty, dude. There was one play on hotel where I was like, nah, this kid's not calming, bro. I remember thinking that. Like, I didn't say it, but I was like, this guy's so dirty.
Honestly, I thought that guy was just going for insane movement.
No. He was going. He could tell he was playing for like the parkour and dope. Like, you could tell he was Ant's his favorite player. You could tell. You can tell Ant's his favorite player, and he's just going for. Yeah, like he's purposely mantling shit. You know what I mean? Like he's risking like dying just to get like the extra dope.
Like to say, like moving your screen left and right, like.
Yeah. He's going for like that, like the knife out dolphin dive reload shit. Like Troy, there's no way, bro. There's no way you robbed my strat from like we went out of 2-0. That was actually illegal. Somebody clipped it in, sent it to me. I like that though. Wait, Ender, you know Troy did like the strat? Because remember we went up 2 against New York, but like no one had to take a piss, but we usually always get up and like reset. We're like, no one get up, I'm gonna stay here. Like, and then, yeah, he stole it, bro. Because apparently, like, because bro, the way they went up 2-0 at champs was actually crazy. They actually slammed them the first 2 maps. Like, they literally spawn trapped them. It was like 250-80 and then 6-0.
I didn't watch the second map. Was it bad?
Yeah, it was like 6-0 or 6-1. But like they went up 5-0, lost it because they were probably running it down, and then realized like they was locked in.
Yeah. That's typical.
But then like you can't leave, bro. You're like the controller's hot at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
the controller's hot, bro. The controller, like, we can't get up just because like we want to just have like a dope up combo outside. That's
you can't get up just because, like, you could.
If you have to piss, yeah. If you have to piss, yeah, go piss. But like,
but like don't do it just because like you could. Like it's like.
Yeah. If you're just like, if you don't have to like do anything, like I swear, just like even just like staying down and just like you just fucking with the settings or like fucking with like the game.
Like moving around, like
Yeah. No bullshit. Just go to your class over and over, like. Just to move your controller, bro. Like, I'm not even changing shit. I'm just like.
I'm not changing shit. I just like love hearing that shit too. Like just like.
Yeah. Just so my game knows that like I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm waiting for the next lobby. I haven't went anywhere.
So fundamentally, I think they could have left the stage and done whatever they wanted. They'd have still won this event. Like, they were looking so good. But it's an interesting idea that having got up 2-0, when most teams leave and catch a breather, they were just sitting there, staying warm on the stage and, you know, maximizing. You know, when you're feeling super hot like that, you don't want to put your controller down and go away. You want to keep your controller in your hands because you're on good form, right? And I guess Sender might have had a part to play in doing exactly that. That's certainly what Dashy and iLLeY seem to think, right? That Sender was a proponent of doing that, let's just say, a couple of years ago when he was working for those guys. And let's say you go up 2-0 in a series on LAN. Do you want to go backstage and kind of cool down a bit, or do you want to stay absolutely locked in front of your monitors, even if you've got to wait 5-10 minutes for the other guys to get back, and after the commercial break, you're just sitting there in the settings menu, just going absolutely wild on your sticks to make sure you're staying warm. So, you know, look, Sender does more for the team than just that idea, but it must say it's pretty interesting, right, that Sender wins the World Championship with these guys, continues that OpTic curse, as it were. He, of course, was part of that team where they won the major event at the start of March 2022, where they won in Texas, and outside of Crowder, the FaZe coach, Sender is now the most decorated coach in CDL history, and it was then a surprise at the end of September 2022 that Sender was released from the team. There was actually quite a bit of drama about this at the time, because Sender had done a video saying that he kind of effectively wanted to be respected as a #1 coach alongside, at least alongside another head coach. And it seems that he felt like if he was going to stay with OpTic, he would just be effectively the #2 guy to Rambo. He didn't want that. He wanted to be more involved rather than just, you know, Rambo does most of the things and Sender's there for the search and destroy and stuff. He wanted to be more primarily involved, and those are one of the reasons why he decided to look elsewhere. And then, you know, maybe he asked OpTic, like, look, can you match the salary that subliners want to pay? Maybe they said no. Who knows? All speculation, of course. But he left for various reasons. OpTic didn't do what it might have taken to keep him around, and, you know, the rest is history, right? He goes to join the subliners. They win 3 events this season and the World Championship, and clearly there's a lot of respect and credit to be given there from the OpTic guys to what Sender was doing, and maybe a mistake to let him go in hindsight, especially given how things went with Rambo and the Dashy situation not working out. I do wonder whether next season OpTic will bring anyone else on in addition, because Karma's going to be there, right? We believe, at least Karma kind of pretty much said the other day that he's still going to be there as the head coach. JP will still be there, it seems, as the analyst. I do wonder if they bring anyone else on, just because on the subliner side, you had, of course, Guerrillas and Sender, but also this guy, Matt Fisher here, who's their performance coach, effectively, and he's worked very closely with these guys for some time now, and it's obviously paying off. So they've got a very solid team of 3, and FaZe have had a team of 3. I think Toronto have, like, what, 3 or 4 coaches over there, Joe Pinnington, Flux, and all this stuff. So, you know, teams are taking it seriously, and it seems like a coaching staff of 3 might well be the optimal you need at the moment. So maybe something OpTic have to think about. Just before we close out the video here, wanted to mention the current longest streaks for 1KD in a tournament plus. So Dashy's streak of 23 odd events got broken with a .98 at the World Championship. These are the current streaks. Awakening's on 5, Octane's on 10, Sky's on 11, which is actually pretty impressive, right? Sky's definitely a player that flies under the radar, I think, still. Now he's a world champion, right? So probably shouldn't to a certain extent, but I think he's been underrated for some time. Cellium has the record at 18, but Hydra is already at 16. And you've got to think, Hydra has only played, I believe, 16 tournaments. So he's played 16 tournaments. He's gone positive 1KD plus at all 16 of them. He's only getting better. So Scump's record all time is like 40, 45 or something insane for events in a row. And nowadays there's less events. So you would have to go positive for a very long time to come. Many seasons Hydra will have to keep this up for, or Cellium will have to keep this up for, to break the record. But it's definitely not impossible with the level these guys are currently performing on. But very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.